It's time to turn up.
I'm gonna go get mommy.
I'll follow about the later.
Are you coming? I am 8 months pregnant. It's like literally anything can happen. Don't you owe me something? I told him to send me a pic.
I'm gonna get wet, huh?
Are you a drinker?
Yeah, I'm working on it. You didn't pour a full glass.
I poured enough.
So I don't have one. Can I pour? It's go time.
This is the Never Ever Mix.
What's up, people? We're back with another TV show recap. I am your host, the one and only Prophet. This show is entitled The Never Ever Met, and this is season 2, episode 1, entitled Online Loves and RL Confessions, which means real life confessions. So, this is my first time watching this show. So at some point, I'm going to go back and watch season 1. It comes on Oprah's own channel. There's new episodes every Friday night, or y'all can just watch it on demand. Now, the premise or the idea of this show is they cast 7 couples who have already been online dating for either a couple of months up to a year, some shorter, some longer, without never meeting in person. So the show starts by putting everybody together in one house in LA for 3 weeks. Shout out to LA, my second home, man. Always beautiful, always a great place to be. All right, so this being their first times meeting each other in person to see if the chemistry is real, if the communication is real, if this could be a real relationship. Do y'all think y'all could do it? I would honestly say I think this is a great idea. I think that people should get to know each other before going out on dates, because that way there's no awkward space. Like, you kind of already know the person, you're kind of already familiar, kind of already know their likes and dislikes and things of that nature, what they expect, their standards, things of that nature. So I think this is a great idea. I don't know about falling in love over Zoom or like FaceTime communication, but I definitely could build a like for somebody doing that just by talking. I would need, me personally, I would need to feel your energy in person before I would get to love. But let's proceed, people. Let's proceed. Okay, I got put onto this show because I know one of this season's cast members. Shout out to Lex, a.k.a. Lex Royal, or y'all will know her on this show as Alexis. You might have seen her on one of my shows, either Sunday Night Wind Down or Uncensored Minds. She's also been on Intimate Conversations, but I didn't release that episode yet. That's another story for another day. I know you're mad at me, Lex. but we'll talk about that another time. Okay, now let's get back to the show, because right out the gate, it starts off hot and messy. Episode 1, it starts off crazy, y'all. So we find out one person still lives with their ex. We find out one person just had an outside baby about a month ago. Now let's meet the couples. Okay, the first couple is Charli. She's 34 from Dallas, Texas. And Jared is 32 from Columbia, South Carolina. They've been dating for 4.5 years virtually. Okay, they actually went to the same high school. She was a senior and he was a sophomore, but they never actually met like face to face or spoke or like knew each other in high school, even though they were there at the same time. So they met on Facebook through like that mutual friends tab where you can see how many friends you have in common. And if you see you got like 150 people, you're like, damn, we know a lot of the same people. We must be close in some sort of capacity. But anyway, she slid in his DMs. She definitely got those Texas curves going on. That body was bodying from her initial pictures. So I would have probably tried to be her Facebook friend as well. I'm just talking shit. All right. So she said, there's a couple reasons that we haven't met in person yet. And one of them is that she is keeping a big secret. And we'll get into that a little later. All right. She said they used to talk every day, but then the communication slowed down. So she figured since he was outside, she wanted to go outside too. But in the midst of her going outside too, the only problem is she ended up getting pregnant. And she's the one out of the new cast who just had a baby. All right, but she still hasn't told Jared. When I was looking at her current shape to what her previous shape was, the pics, it just the math wasn't math and it wasn't matching. I mean, she still looks good, but it's not what it was. All right, so she said she's been scared to tell him, and this is where it starts off messy, messy, messy already, episode 1. So when they first saw each other, there was an instant physical connection. They hugged and kissed. He stared at her booty a little bit. She said he was fine. And they went on to enjoy a pottery date. I think a pottery date is a great date exercise. I don't know if that should be the first date because pottery can get a little bit intimate. But if you've already been communicating, I can see that working. So he went on to say he has a secret as well. So we'll see who has the bigger bomb to drop. All right. Now, later on in the episode, after their date, we see her sneak off and go upstairs, and she was pumping, doing the breast pump milk thing, while he was downstairs on the couch. Now, she's talking to producers about how she feels guilty and anxious, and she wants to tell them about the baby, but she's scared. Now, I know this is a big house, but y'all know those breast pump machines be loud. So somebody had to hear that breast pump machine. I'm not jacking that. All right. So she finally cracked and told him about the 1-month-old baby. But that wasn't the kicker. She proceeded to tell him.
When I told you I had hernia surgery, I was literally giving birth. So I don't have one kid, I have 4.
Not only does she have the 12-year-old daughter that she told him about, she also has 2 other younger children, including this newborn baby that she just told him about. So that now leaves us from her telling him that she has one 12-year-old daughter to now her telling him that she just went from 1 to 4 kids, including a newborn, on the first meetup after we've been talking for how many? 4.5 years. So you've been keeping these 4 kids a secret for 4.5 years. Remember, everybody, this is still episode 1. All right, now the second couple, which is my girl Alexis, who's now 47 from Philadelphia, PA, and Chris, who's 35 from Dallas, Texas. Okay, so they've been basically virtually dating for about a year. They were introduced by a mutual friend. I'll tell y'all this about Lex, man, and I fuck with Lex heavy. That's my peoples. I fuck with Lex heavy. She's a real one. Lex is a straight shooter, y'all. No chaser. She don't play no games. She's gonna say what it is, and y'all will see that as this goes along. All right. She first said I didn't like him because he had a picture up with his tongue hanging out. But she said they talked some more and she started to like him. So she just told him to go ahead and send the dick pic.
I told him to send me a pic.
Now, I'm going to stay far from that, but the smile on her face says it all about what she thought about said dick pic. Okay, moving along. I told y'all this is the first episode and it's juicy already. Now, she spoke on their age gap, being as though she's like a little over 10 years older than him. She said she's still young at heart, and she finds that older guys can't keep up, and they normally fall off physically.
The guys my age, they kind of fall off. Older guys, they just can't keep up.
Now, I would agree to that on the vice versa side of things. And I kind of tell people this all the time when people talk about why people choose younger people. And it's because normally older people let themselves go when they fall off. And nobody really wants to look at that. Sorry, but the truth is the truth. All right. Now, Chris was excited to see and finally meet Lex in person. But, like I told y'all, Lex is a tough cookie. Chris was already in the doghouse. Episode 1, Chris starts off already in the doghouse. All right, during that year time that they've been virtually dating, he actually started talking to somebody else, somebody who was more local, distance-wise, and somebody who was closer to his age. And I'll tell y'all this, man. Y'all will definitely, I don't know about other shows like Ready to Love when they doing their Philly season or whatever, but y'all will definitely notice the Philly in Lex. She's definitely from Philly. On first glance, you can see she had the Philly mean mug with the side of attitude written all over her face until he smiled at her.
And then he smiled. Like, oh my goodness. When you first plug in the Christmas lights or something, you know what I mean? So he lit me up. He smiled, I smiled, and that was it.
And then she opened up a bit to receiving him. But don't speak too soon. As they begin their dinner date on the beach, she came right at his neck, definitely Philly style, and said,
Don't you owe me something?
Don't you owe me something? And he was thrown aback and befuddled, lost and confused. And she said, and he was saying, like, what? He didn't know. And she said, you owe me a public apology. I said, God damn, Chris, on day one, on the first meetup, you already owe her an apology? What you done did, Chris? What he did? Let me know. What y'all think Chris did? All right, so she goes on to explain to Chris that he needs to apologize for entertaining the other woman while they were supposed to be getting exclusive or getting to know each other through their virtual dating. Now, I'm not mad at that. At least they were able to talk through it, together without either side being super defensive. It seemed like they had a good communication space right there and then on working that out. All right, welcome back. Now let's go into the third couple. KeKe from Atlanta, Georgia, and Brandon, who's 30, from Birmingham, Alabama. KeKe's 29. All right, this couple has been dating for 4 years. They met online. He sent her a DM. She said they haven't met in person yet because she's a big girl. A big girl.
Brandon says he likes big girls, so we'll see.
A big girl, y'all. Sorry. And even though he said he likes big girls, she doesn't carry those same confidence, I would say. She doesn't carry that same confidence all the time. Now, I was going to say it's not for me, but some guys do like big girls. Some guys, that's their preference. they with it. So, to each their own. But that's why you gotta ask, and that's why you gotta be truthful in your responses, cause it'll come out like if you really like that, if that's really your preference, things of that nature. So just be truthful in how you feel about it. It's all right. He said she was a BBW model. I'm gonna just leave that right there. All right, so he set up a photo shoot for her as their first date. I would say a photo shoot is a little risky because most women, even the super beautiful women, they're not often comfortable with their bodies, especially like in the first initial meetings. But he did seem genuinely happy and comfortable with her weight. But that doesn't mean that she is always happy or comfortable with her weight. Now, when it comes to doing the photo shoot, like I was saying, he went straight to like the lingerie. He didn't even start off with like, we were just gonna take a couple pictures of what you got on, put you in a nice dress, put you in a nice fit, whatever it may be. He went straight lingerie. He went straight lingerie style. All right, I'm not mad at it, but it seemed like a bit much for the first initial date. But she was with it. She was a good sport. Her first impressions of him were like, at first she was like, he's shorter than I imagined. But then she said, I liked everything else about him. I think he was cute. I liked his smile. I liked the way he dressed, whatever it may be. She was good. She liked how he looked. All right, so as they proceeded, and you'll see, like, she did actually get in the lingerie and was popping ass a little bit. She was popping ass a little bit. But we gonna let them do what they do. All right, so after the photo shoot, they were like sitting down having a drink or supposedly dinner, and he got a little agitated because she wanted more wine. And she said, she was nervous, and sometimes even men or women, they'll have a drink to calm their nerves on initial meetings with people. But you can tell that set off a red flag for him. You could see the agitation in his voice. You could see it written all over his face. He even questioned her about her drinking habits.
Are you a drinker?
Randy, I'm working on it.
And she said, this is something that I'm working on. So pay attention to that. All right, moving on. We get to the fourth couple, which is Alicia, who's 36, from Nazareth, PA, and Ervin, who's 44, from Brockton, Massachusetts. So they've been dating for 5 months now, virtually dating. So they're still a new couple. They're trying to figure it out. She is basically saying, I'm past the dating stage. I'm ready to be a wife. They met on a profile dating app. All right, Alicia's cute, but it's just given that she's a little stuck up or like get off me kind of vibes. So they both were very pleased looks wise with each other on the initial seeing each other meet. And he wanted to share a Haitian dance because I guess he's Haitian, something from his culture. So she said she felt a little uncomfortable, like I was saying, with the touchy-feely vibes.
But I felt a little bit of a way that this is a date where we had to touch on each other.
But she loosened up a little bit, so shout out to her. She did try and she did participate. She didn't completely shut it down, even though she was not with it. She was not with it. All right, so like I was saying about the dates, you got to be careful with things that involve touching or undressing on first dates. No matter how long you've been talking virtually, this is still your first time meeting the person in person. Some people's with the shit, some people's not. You gotta feel the vibes. But also keep that in mind when you're planning set dates. All right, we'll come back to them. Let's go to the next couple, which is Tatiana, or what I now nicknamed her, Tata. She's 31 from Los Angeles, California. And Clavacia, I don't know how you say this bull name. That's a stupid ass name. But we just gonna call him Clay. So Clay is 28 from Riverdale, Georgia. And they've been dating for 8 months. They met on Instagram. He sent her DM and asked her where she was from. And she said...
And I said heaven.
From heaven. He gave her a big hug. He lifted her up. And she was all smiles on the first look and meet up in person. They actually went horseback riding. Horseback riding for a first date is not something that I would personally choose as a first date. I'm not really into the nature scene, but it's a good choice. I know a lot of girls like horseback riding, and you might want to see how she ride a little bit. You might want to see how she ride. But depending on if she's a nature or adventurous girl, that would be something that would be spoken about in conversations. So they ended their date after the horseback riding with a nice little picnic dinner as the sun was setting. It was like open land. It was a perfect scene or a backdrop for a kiss or a first kiss. But she was not with it. She was a little abrupt. Like, no, we can hold hands, or, she just wasn't with the physical first kiss. She wasn't ready yet, I would say. So you got to feel the vibes, like I was saying. All right, moving on. Let's see where we're at. 6th couple. Okay, we're at the 6th couple. Remember, there are 7 couples in the house, people. All right, Brittany is 40 from Houston, and Ty is 38 from Los Angeles, California. And they've been dating for 3 months. She said since she's a mom of a young 3-year-old son, dating is hard for her because she doesn't have a huge support system. And any guy that comes along and wants to be with her is going to have to accept her son as the package deal. Make sure y'all pay attention to that. Okay. Now he decides to take her parasailing. I think that's fire as a first date. Like I said, you gotta know if your partner is up to trying things. So they went parasailing. I would say on first initial looks or thoughts, he gave off a little soft, like maybe sad. I don't want to use the word sassy because but he gave off a little soft energy. But maybe he's just sweet. Maybe he's just a sweet guy. He had that salt and pepper look. I know a lot of the ladies like that. She was cool, but they only been dating for 3 months, and she was talking to him like, would you marry me? If we go somewhere, I gotta bring my son. If you're ready, I could start picking out houses. And I get the whole dating with intentions thing, but slow down, shorty. Just slow down a little bit, shorty. This is the first initial date, and you already picking out houses and everything. But let's proceed. All right, last but not least, this is all episode 1, people. Make sure y'all check it out on OWN or streaming on demand every Friday night. All right, the last couple is Cinco, who's 30 from Atlanta, Georgia, and Jay, who's 30 from Maywood, Illinois. They've been dating for 5 months. They met on Instagram and started FaceTiming every day. He said he noticed that she was liking his pics, so he jumped in her DMs, and they've been FaceTiming every day since. He said from what he sees, about her posting and things of that nature, that she's a great mom and that is a quality that attracted him to her, even though he doesn't have any kids yet. Men do see women being good or great moms or wits, so they will be attracted to that. All right, so Jay is the girl. Jay is beautiful. Yeah, Jay is just beautiful. She said acts of service is her love language, and she said she didn't need him to plan the date. She was the only woman who took the initiative to plan the first date.
I wanted to put a smile on his face. I didn't need him to plan a date. I got it.
So she said, I didn't need him to plan the date. I got this. So salute to her. Salute to her. All right, Jay. She got a nice little figure going on. And she also coaches basketball. They played a little one-on-one game. I think that's fire. If y'all don't know, I love basketball, so I think that's lit. Yeah, when I seen it, I was like, I'll take Shorty out on a date. All right, but as they were playing their one-on-one, he said, what if I make this shot? And that was the bet. She said, if you make this shot, then you get a kiss. So y'all know, for TV purposes, or, maybe he was lucky, or maybe he can play ball. I don't know, but he made the shot anyway. And she held her end of the bet, and she gave him a nice, juicy kiss. Now, I spoke about kissing before, and everybody can't do it. Everybody don't know how to do it. Everybody's not comfortable doing it. But if you know how to give a good kiss, salute to her. All right, it wasn't a peck, and it wasn't a tongue down, but it was just enough for our first initial kiss. She asked him how her lips felt. He said they felt great. All right, so aside from she does have like these big ass chompers. Her teeth is like a little over the top, but other than that, she's fire. She's fire. She might be my favorite. Jay is my favorite so far. Jay's my favorite so far. All right, so after their basketball date, they sat down and they ate pizza or whatever and was talking, and then they went back to the house. In the house, the men have separate rooms. Well, everybody has the men have separate rooms from the ladies, but Jay, my favorite, said, fuck all that. I'm not sleeping with the girls. I want to sleep with my man. So they took a shower together. She said it's been 5 long months of them just talking, and she finally gets to be with him in his space and share his energy. She said,
he's a man. Men have needs as well as ladies. Why not get it over with now? Because what if you're not compatible?
salute to you, Jay. Salute to you, Jay. She ain't come here to play no games. I don't know if they had sex or whatever, but just the intimacy of it, I salute both of them. I told y'all she's my favorite. I like her. This is episode 1, and she's already showing and busting her moves. All right, people. This is episode 1. Like I said, the show is called The Never Ever Mets, and it's on the OWN channel or watch it on demand now. Stay tuned for all my episode recaps. Once again, shout out to my girl Lex. Make sure y'all hit that thumbs up button, like and share the video, hit that live bell notification, all those good things so you don't miss anything. And we will see y'all next time, man. Have a good one. Deuces.